The road to arriving at Ed's Yakuza SV was an interesting one for me. I have been a fan of exotic cars all my life. I think I got my first Road and Track magazine when I was 11 years old, and loved the Lamborghinis since then. Ferraris are great, Corvettes are great, and as my business and career trajectory started going a little bit upwards, I started having my eye on some cars that were a little bit upwards on the trajectory as well. So a couple of years ago, I found locally to me a 1996 yellow on tan 6-speed Spider Ferrari 355. I love the 355. It's definitely a car I'm going to own one day. And for a period of time there, I thought it was going to be the first really cool car that I bought. So this car was absolutely terrible. Say a good proper car would be $125,000 at the time. This would be a car in good condition, that's ready for the road, put some miles on it, have some fun. This yellow car was listed at $109, and it was a private party sale, and I thought, okay, well, if $125 is the right money for a good car, maybe they have just a car that's a little bit tough to sell, so let's get some activity here, throw it on at $109. So I go and see the car, go for a test drive, and the car looks great, sounds great, running properly. I'm very happy so far. Now we go inside to the gentleman's house, and it was a 90-year-old who had had a stroke, it was the owner, and it was his adult children, assisting him, selling on his behalf. Really nice guy who couldn't speak anymore, but sitting at the table, as he was pulling out all the documents for me, this is where the truth emerged. And they were a little bit withholding and letting me know vital information prior to test driving and whatnot. So the car had burned to the ground in 2003. This was a 1996 car, so it was still fairly new when this happened, so that is a little bit of a concern. And I thought, okay, if the right car is 125, this car just became 75 probably, right? And we carry on going through the paperwork, and the next thing to pop out was that the car was imported to Canada from America prior to this gentleman purchasing it. Now, he bought it from a Canadian, and the person previous to him had brought it across the border. Generally speaking, bringing a car over the border either direction generally will influence the value a little bit. So perhaps I can say now we're down to 70,000. But a really weird thing that they did when they brought the car into Canada, this being a 1996, it's a mechanical instrument bezel, so it's got a mechanical odometer. They took out the miles odometer, put in a kilometers odometer, and matched the mileage in kilometers to what it had been in miles when they took the other one out. So now it's a unknown mileage car on top. So 70 just became 55, 60,000, okay. And go on a little bit further, and that's all of the gremlins really that were to present. So it was kind of 3 strikes you're out. It was the fire rebuild, unknown mileage, and import. So the next thing that I had to look at, of course, was how are we doing on the service history? Now, the current owner had only put 3,000 kilometers on the car in the 10 years of ownership. So having learned from Doug Tabbitt in one of his previous videos that you have to have a compression and leak down test on a Ferrari 355, just sort of serendipitous that I'd happened to watch that video and now going to shop for this car. I also learned in my research that a compression and leak down test, if you get a good result, that will stand the test of time if you don't put any miles on the car. So now this car didn't have any miles on it since they had done a good test in 2014. So at least now I knew that the engine's in pretty good shape. But it hadn't had a belt service. It hadn't had a belt service in I'm not even sure how long. So now using Ed's 10 commandments of buying terrible cars, I know that I have to price in to get this car right one of those services. So I got in touch with the local dealers and the local independent mechanics to find someone to do this service. We're going to have to pull the engine. And of course, once you're in there, now what else are we going to do? Now, I felt strongly about probably doing everything we can to see that this car doesn't burn to the ground a second time. So let's do all the fuel lines and oil lines and everything and make sure everything that might have turned to plastic is still rubber, so we won't get the car burning to the ground again. So now by the time I had a reasonable approximation of what this service was going to cost, I'm at best, $50,000 for the car. Now, I took the owner through all of my logic, and here's what this means, here's what this means. We start at a good car's price, we get down to this, let's talk about $50,000. And they weren't particularly interested. They thought someone else will show up and probably pay more. So we gave each other a handshake and I went on my way. And as far as I know, that car got sold because the listing came down. And so hopefully someone's out there enjoying it. Now, next along was again, luckily for me, a cool car locally. There was a 1991 Diablo that was a really nice color. It was a dark blue factory on a beautiful sort of tan saddle interior. Great looking car. And as an aside, the fact that I ended up with the striking Arancio Diablo that pops everywhere I go, I'm definitely much happier than I would have been with this sort of dark blue that can kind of disappear. But hey, when you're looking at it, gorgeous car. Now, that car had all of the traditional early Diablo electrical problems, unfortunately. I showed up in the fall of 2024. The gentleman and I went for a drive, and the car just would not even run. Now, I don't know why he had me over to his house, because the car wouldn't run unless you were on the gas. Now, that makes for a dreadful situation when you're trying to gently get the clutch pedal out and not burn that to a crisp, applying all of this torque to it for an engine that will only run if you keep it at 2,500 RPM. So suffice it to say, I wasn't interested in the car at the time. And then we carry on to the following spring. I was back in touch with a gentleman, and he told me he'd had a lot of work done with it over the winter. The electrical systems, all new, excellent, fantastic, let's go see it. And we go out in the car again, and it was better, but not good. It was not correct at any point still. Stalled a couple of times, and having to rev the engine to get it to go from a stop is just, I'm seeing the smoke coming out the back. That's not where I want to be in owning a Diablo. So, nice guy, beautiful car. Unfortunately, that wasn't going to be the one. Carrying on forward, now we get into the spring of 2025, and there's this gorgeous SE30 Viola Diablo Roadster factory color available in Tampa, Florida. Now, I went to see that because I was incidentally down in Florida on other business, and holy cow, that car was awful. That car had a multitude of things wrong with it for the fact that it was sitting there looking gorgeous in the pictures. Now, when I went to see it in person, I was really able to take a good look at what this car looked like from a sort of microscope perspective, because I'm talking about a car that I'm really serious about potentially buying. So the interior was significantly chewed up. It had a serious accident history of which it was very poorly repaired, and it had a whole bunch of miles on it. And being a roadster, which has a lot of the heat dissipation issues, because when you run the car with the top off and it's sitting over the engine, it's holding the heat in, and the car kind of melts underneath itself. So this car was exhibiting all these things, and first off, the interior being just absolutely terrible. The speakers were falling out and all ripped, and there was a nail in the suspension control in the tunnel panel, I guess just holding it in place so it wouldn't squeak. And the key was this $2 hardware store copy of a key, and I'm supposed to be buying an exotic supercar here for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the interior of the car was just terrible. And the accident that had been in was, as I say, serious. It had taken a significant blow to the passenger rear to the point that a control arm was bent. The repair, they bent it back. So as I'm looking at a service invoice, the one service invoice that they had for the car, which is recent for a car with 62,000 kilometers on it, it said replace control arm. And this was years after it had been in the accident. So this shows us that it had been very poorly repaired from the accident, and then a little bit more properly repaired years later. So this is all not adding up to any kind of a car that I have any kind of faith in. But all that being said, with its cosmetic issues, the fact that it's melted, it was in an accident and repaired poorly, it's got a chewed up interior, is it a Diablo Roadster? Yeah. Do the doors go up? Uh-huh. Gated manual V12? Uh-huh. Factory Viola? Check. I still want this car. So now let's go through this same process of starting at the good car money, working down to what I think this car would be worth. Now at the time, excellent car, Diablo Roadster, ready for miles, $400,000 all day. Let's deduct for the fact of the accident and the very poor repair situation. At least $100,000, probably $150,000. So let's call it, now we're at $275,000. Nothing to do with the accident, the fact of the extremely chewed up interior. I'll knock $25,000 off for that, certainly. And let's go with 62,000 kilometers, melted condition, no service history, don't know how old the clutch is. and the dealership didn't even know how to tell me. I asked them how long the clutch had been in the car, how many miles it has, and they say, no problem, we'll do the clutch snap. And I said, these don't do that. Let's knock probably another $25,000 off. All these things adding up together, it sounds like I'm at $200,000 or maybe $225,000. Now, I had advice from Ed Boley, and he and I were in touch because I reached out to him a couple years previously, and we originally started talking because I was looking for a cheap Diablo, and this is something that he knows about. So, of course, I'd never met him or anything like that, but we were conversing digitally, and he told me $245. That's a good number. I understand, Matt, why you think $200 to $225 is good for the car, but it is a factory Viola, so let's be at $245. Now, of course, I have no skills of shrewd negotiation, so I went in at $245. And I was told the owner is in the threes. And I just thought, there's no way. Like, they should be coming back at me saying, okay, well, $275 or something. But the owner's in the threes, and I'm at $245, and $245 is the right money. This just isn't going to happen. We're way too far apart. I'll have to let it go, even though it's a super cool car. As they say, there's always going to be something available. And hey, only a couple of months later, Tim Fabrizio found the Victoria's Secret car. Ed bought it. Can't have two Diablo SVs in his garage, so he's going to be selling the Yakuza. I put my hand up. I'm interested in this. Ran the auction. I was determined to win, and I won. And my couple of years of shopping for a terrible example of a really cool car ended magnificently.
This month of VINwiki content is brought to you by Premier Financial Services, and they are the perfect partner in your journey to own your dream car because their Simple Lease is the most powerful tool in the world of exotic car financing. You'll get all the benefits of a leasing structure like lower payments and better tax treatment, along with everything we love about a normal exotic car loan where you can trade in and out at any time, always know where you stand thanks to their amortization table, and accumulate equity for whenever you're finished and ready for the next car. And Premier is great because they're wholly owned and backed by First Financial Bank, which means they have more buying power than any other exotic car bank or collector car bank in the United States, and their customer service is unmatched. Also, rates are lower than they have been in a very, very long time, so it's never been a better time to reach out to Premier, talk to their representatives, learn what you can pre-qualify for, and let them help you own the car of your dreams with Premier Financial Services.